everybody. How's everybody doing on this Wednesday? I hope that everybody's doing well and staying relatively cool. I know it's really hot everywhere, which is part of what I'm going to talk about. Hot and moist climates tend to encourage a lot of gross things. So I want to talk about tea tree essential oil and citronella essential oil. It's obvious that those are on people's minds right now. So I like to talk about things that people are thinking about anyway, so why not talk about them? I would like to talk about every single essential oil that is known to man, but we got to narrow it down to what's relevant and pertinent, and these two essential oils are relevant and pertinent today, so let's talk about these two. Okay, why? Sometimes this made me think about a show that I like. I like to watch the show Dr. Pimple Popper. And have you ever noticed that, well, if you watch Dr. Pimple Popper, which her name is Dr. Lee, and she's got a practice in California. And if you like that kind of thing, that happens to be something I like. But some people are really grossed out by it. But, okay, she will cut into, slice, pop, and in other ways extract gross stuff from inside of people. And when she does it, she's got this really funny way of describing it. She'll be like, oh, this one looks like cottage cheese. This one looks like mashed potatoes. This one looks like, and like it doesn't bother her. Like literally, she is unfazed. And the person who like she's doing it to is like, oh my gosh. But she doesn't care. She's like, ooh, and this one looks like cheese that, you know, like the Cheese Whiz. And like she does not care. But she does wear a mask, and she will say, this smells horrible. Like she'll be like, ooh, this is a stinky one, right? And like her assistant is gagging over in the corner. And they're like, ugh. Okay, so why, the thing I'm trying to get to, we're talking about tea tree, and we're talking about citronella. So we talk about tea tree essential oil. It is one of the most studied essential oils. There are over 600 scientific research studies, it is studied backwards and forwards, right? And we know lots and lots and lots about it, and I'm not going to cite any of those research studies, and I'm not going to make any medical claims today, but I'm just going to tell you that if you want to do some research on tea tree, otherwise known as melaleuca, go and do the research because it's out there and you can see why it's just so incredibly potent for the stinky, gross, nasty stuff. So my question to you is, why is stuff so stinky and gross and nasty? What is it? So say you have something like really gross and nasty looking, right? A nasty looking thing that may be around your mouth. Anybody getting any hints? Maybe you have something really gross and nasty on your hand, or maybe like a little something on the bottom of your foot that's like gross and nasty. Maybe it doesn't smell too bad, but it's ugly, right? Gross, nasty, ugly, smelly. And then maybe you have something smelly. Maybe it's like in your armpits or other areas where there's folds for women under the breast if they have breasts. There's maybe you have skin folds on your neck if you're overweight. Maybe you have wherever you have folds, okay? Or areas that tend to be moist. Now you got nasty, stinky. What's making it smell bad? So we have natural mechanisms in our body that are built in that warn us. Warning, warning, this smells foul. Stay away. This is harmful, toxic, not healthy for you. So what are the things that make things smell really bad? I'm going to leave that to you because I think you guys know that. And I think that you also know that there are different things that make things gross, nasty, smelly. This is a different thing than this is a different thing than this that's on my hand, right? They're all different things, but they're all things that are in the realm of the scope of tea tree essential oil. And the reason is tea tree has these amazing compounds: limonene, linalool, cineol. These are powerful ones. That's why you don't just want to be dousing everything with straight tea tree oil copiously. You can dilute, and you can make sure that you're doing this in a smart way, but you need to be using it all the time. I have it diffusing right now. There was a quote from NASA. NASA, isn't that cool? According to NASA, tea tree oil is the best natural air purifier you can keep in your house. Best natural air purifier you can keep in your house. It destroys air pollutants. So are we worried about air pollutants right now in our home? There's never been a time that I have been more conscientious about the cleanliness of the air in my house. I'm not talking about surfaces right now. I'm not talking about scrubbing things, which absolutely you can use tea tree for. Laundry detergent, cleaners, scrubs. I'm talking about diffusing it for purifying the air. Most of the things that I used to use, and I'll go back to the Dr. Pimple Popper because poor thing, I mean, I was watching her and then I kind of like her, you know, I'm into that stuff. So I followed her on Twitter and she made a comment about essential oils and I said, oh no, she does not know about the benefits of essential oils. She's completely ignorant about it. And then I thought, but you know what, so was I. 5-6 years ago, I was completely ignorant about the benefits of essential oils. I didn't know. And so, you know what I had to do? I had to private message her and send her some research studies. She didn't respond. But that is the goal, is to educate. We need to educate because we know that the research is out there. So we don't just want things to smell good. In the past, I would make things smell good in my house and I would use the usual, right? The usual suspects, things that cover over that odor. Did you know that you can cover and put a nice perfumey smell on top of something nasty and it's still nasty, but it smells good, but it's still gross and nasty? You don't want something to smell good but still be nasty. And so when we think about tea tree, we're actually addressing the cause of the nasty smell. We're addressing what caused that growth. Share this video, you guys. Share this with everybody that needs to know about tea tree and citronella. I forgot to say that in the beginning. Share, 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 share. You're going to want to share this with everybody who might be interested in knowing more about tea tree and citronella today. So share away. But that is the whole point, is we don't want to cover over smells. We want to address the underlying reason for the smell, the underlying reason for that growth or that eruption. When we talk about acne, there's a reason for the eruption. It's not something that happened because out of the blue. There's something that's causing that. And so if we just slap something on top of it to make it look better, we're not addressing the reason. And the beauty of tea tree is it does. And it doesn't just address one reason. It addresses the reason for this, the reason for that, the reason for that, the reason for your toenails, everything in one oil. And remember that term, terpenin for OL. Terpenin for all. Terpenin for OL. That's a really important constituent of tea tree oil. So, okay, so air purifier, talked about that, talked about the terpenes. Did you know that it's another one that helps with lightening blemishes, lightening areas of the skin that have been scarred by blemishes? It not only helps with the blemish itself, but it's going to help after you've had the blemishes and now you have scarring and now you have discoloration of your skin. It can help with that as well. So you're going to use it if you're having the problem currently, and then if you've had the problem in the past and you're left with those scars. It's also really good because of the antiseptic properties to dry out things like blackheads. So all things skin, and I'm talking about all things skin. So there's lots of people that have really, really tough conditions of their skin that they've tried everything. They've tried this, they've tried that. It causes them so much discomfort. It's so irritating. It's so flaky. And you know, it's seasonal, causes them all of these different conditions. They have to wear long sleeves just to cover it because they're so embarrassed by the looks of it. Everything I just mentioned, tea tree essential oil, okay? That is, you need to have a lot of it because you need to be diffusing it all the time. It was, you know, you guys have heard me talk about the study about tea tree and the air and what it does and how powerful that is for this current global climate that we're in. So it's diffusing all the time. It's diffusing in multiple diffusers. Then you're putting it on your skin. Okay, so you're going to need a lot of it. You can make your own makeup remover with it too. That's what I like with it. I like to do a natural makeup remover. And so what you can use, I like jojoba oil. So when I put jojoba oil and then I can do like 4 or 5 drops of tea tree and then use that to take my makeup off, it works really well. But then what's it doing for my skin? What makeup remover do you know that you take your makeup off and then you totally did wonders for your skin after you took your makeup off? It's clean, but it's beyond clean. So I'm not going to go into things that I can't say, but let's see. The thing about tea tree oil is the fact that the chemical constituents allow it to penetrate so deep into the skin. And so that's where you start to have those, like the flaky, the itchy, those things when you have that occasional issues with your skin. That's coming from the deeper layers of your skin. It might exhibit itself on the top, but it's coming from deeper layers. So the beauty of the tea tree is you go ahead and apply it on the top, put a carrier, and it's gonna go penetrate deep to the source of those issues that are causing that discomfort for you. Yes. Oh, so body odor. What did we talk about? Why do we have not just, you know, eruptions, but the smell? And I keep pointing to my own. We all have body odor, right? Why do we have body? Why do some people have like really bad body odor and then other people not so much? I'm not gonna say. You guys know what causes body odor. What causes BO? The thing that causes the body odor is the thing that the tea tree addresses. So we don't just want to spray something on there or put some pretty smelling perfume on there and still be funky on the inside. We want to eliminate the reason for that foul odor. And the foul odor can be pits and it can be other places in your body. And I think we all know that. Okay, so you can make your own deodorant with it. I'm going to talk about citronella next. Citronella is another one that you can make a deodorant with. Citronella, you guys, I learned some stuff about citronella. It is so much more than an insect repellent. Okay, so all these other things that you think of, again, anything gross. Think about feet. What things on your feet are gross? All those things, okay? Tea tree oil for all those things. Tea tree oil for when you have gross things that are unsightly, that just pop up on your face when you're stressed. You know what I'm talking about. Dandruff. Anything that is, again, we know what causes dandruff. And it's not, we know it causes dandruff. So again, using tea tree on your scalp, in your shampoo. I know Felicia Williams and I have talked about this in the past. It's going to help with hair growth. You can use it for a hot oil treatment. You can use it for a deep conditioning treatment. Yeah, so you don't like that chemical nasty stench around your house when you're cleaning your house with those chemical cleaners. Use something that smells amazingly fresh and clean like tea tree and is going to get the job done. Mildew and mold. We had some mildew and mold in our shower and my husband looked up a recipe because my husband, I'm gonna just keep it real, he's like the cleaner in our house. So he looked up a recipe and used melaleuca. I mean, it looked like there had never been any mildew or mold in our shower. And he didn't even have to use much. So that's something to remember when you're cleaning, and it smells great. It smells so fresh and clean when you're done. and you don't have to worry about, I mean, I remember in the past I would clean the bathroom and then I'd say, okay, now you guys have to stay out for this many hours because I don't want my daughter's asthma acting up because of these chemicals. Nope, none of that. Air freshener, laundry cleaner, you make your own soap, just diffuse it all the time. Diffusing it, tea tree will handle mold. So if you just want to make sure, you know, so many people have mold issues in their house, just diffuse it. Just diffuse tea tree in your house. It's that powerful. All right. So I think you guys know it can also be used for insect repellent. It can be used for ticks. It can be used. What else happens in people's hair that is actually alive? You know what I'm talking about? Something that lives in the hair and that kind of like grows and crawls around and then has babies. That's another one that tea tree is extremely effective for, and in pets too. So pets, you're going to need to be careful because tea tree is one of the oils that you have to be careful with pets. It's not something that you would want to use as a first line oil, especially for cats. But it doesn't mean that you can't use it. So I'm gonna just leave that there. And then I know people that garden, they love tea tree for their plants. It can go ahead and get rid of the fungus on the plants without harming the plant. You can use it, I didn't know this, that you can control rotting in fruit, like strawberries, with tea tree oil. So if you don't want them to rot or you want them to last longer, you can spray them with like a tea tree oil solution, and that makes your fruit not rot. And then blight disease in tomatoes. So those gardeners out there, tea tree oil again. All right, oral health. We talked about that yesterday when we were talking about turmeric, however you want to say it. It's the same thing with tea tree. It's not the same thing. Turmeric, I was talking mostly about plaque. With tea tree, we're talking about halitosis, and we're talking about what causes halitosis, what causes bad breath. That's what you're going to use the tea tree for your mouth. Add it to an oral rinse and go ahead and rinse your mouth out with it, or put a drop on your toothpaste. Use it to clean your toothbrush. So you put your toothbrush and soak it in a tea tree solution, and your toothbrush is now sterilized. So it makes your toothbrush last longer. Moving on to citronella. So citronella, a lot of people think of citronella and they're like, okay, it's for mosquitoes, and that's about it. And personally, that was the extent of my knowledge about citronella until I started doing research. So it's in the same family as lemongrass. Right away, when you learn that citronella is in the same family as lemongrass, it completely opened up my mind. Because when you think about what are some of the properties of lemongrass? So all things relaxing, all things spasmodic, occasional spasmodic issues, you use lemongrass for them. Guess what? You can use citronella for them as well. So when I think of monthly spasms, abdominal spasms, pelvic spasms that I experience, which just monthly would be occasionally, that's another option is citronella, which I did not know. But any spasm, so anything that spasms, any muscle, and there are nervous system spasms too, right? Occasional things that spasm. Just think of anything that spasms. So you're going to be able to use citronella for that. That's a great thing to know. It's another one that's going to be in the same, so you're going to be able to use both of these together really well because they have some of the same uses. So when I talked about what causes odor, the same thing that melaleuca or tea tree does for that, citronella also does. So citronella is also going to inhibit the cause of that bad smelling odor. And so it makes an ideal ingredient to put in your deodorant, to put in your perfumes. You can make it body sprays, bath blends, bath soaks to relax the spasms. I would have never thought of using citronella as a soak, but that was one of the things when I was doing my research that was recommended. Also, with maturing complexions, blemished complexions, and scarred complexions. So another one to use for your face. I would not have thought to put citronella on my face, but it's another one that does really well. Do you have oily hair? So what citronella does is regulate sebum production. So if you're somebody that produces a lot of sebum, then you have more, you make more oil, you make more, what do I want to say? You're more oily, you're more sebaceous. You make, like, you're more waxy, you're more like, you're somebody who makes more wax in your ears. Yeah, you just make more stuff that comes out of you. And so if you want to balance that out, then citronella is another really good way to do that. It's really good to massage into your scalp, and it helps get rid of the dead skin, the dirt, the buildup of all of those environmental pollutants that are in your hair. But then it's really good for oily hair because it regulates the sebum production. So if you have oily hair and you want an oil to put in your hair, I know it sounds funny to put an oil in oily hair, but that's what it does work. Think about spasms, think about gas. Would you have thought about citronella for gas? But yes, gas and spasms, abdominal issues like cramping and spasms. And it's also got that detoxifying, diuretic, diaphoretic, so it's going to help you get rid of, it's going to help you detox through all of the different ways. Diaphoretic, sweat. Diuretic, pee. So it's going to help you get rid of toxins through those methods or mechanisms. Those ways, use citronella, and it encourages you to release the toxins through those natural ways that you would release toxins. Also, salt, acid, fat, excess water, and bile. It's going to help your body expel salt, acid, fat, excess water, and bile. Hello? Did you know citronella did all that? Or did you think that it was just for mosquitoes? That's what I thought. So, and then again, when you diffuse it, right now I have tea tree and citronella diffusing. And I know people have been posting about the boundaries and how melaleuca and tea tree and citronella are both really good for like boundaries, for like emotional boundaries and being able to, this article I was looking at talked about mental clarity and reducing the burden of chaotic and conflicting emotions. So that's really cool too, because maybe you're not feeling necessarily like you need to set boundaries, or like you're this empath person that cannot separate yourself from other people's stuff. But maybe you have chaotic and conflicting emotions and you need clarity. So the same way that this detoxes and helps clear your body out, it's going to do the same thing for your mind. So it's going to help you with clarity, and it's going to help you to not have conflicting emotions. So cool, right? The other stuff is all stuff that is, like conditions and things that I don't want to talk about. But you sure can do some more research on citronella and find that it is really, really impressive, much far beyond a mosquito repellent, although it's incredibly, incredibly effective for that. If you look up how effective it is, it's way superior to a lot of the other things that people use. And this quality of this essential oil is really, really, yes, they are such a nice scent together, Felicia. I did that for this video, and I'm like, wow, I love this smell. It's so clean. I don't even have to clean, it just smells clean. I'm just kidding, I know I still have to clean. But yeah, I talked about face wash, body wash, under your arms, cramping, helping excrete. So I hope that this has helped you guys know a lot more about both tea tree and citronella beyond the things that we already knew, and why you really do want this essential oil in your home in like perpetuity. You want a lot of it. You don't want one bottle, you want a lot of it. So for this, we don't know how much longer this is going to be. Yes, I did mention that, Liza, to be careful with pets. So you guys, I can post a little comment down there about diffusing with pets, but it's not as scary as a lot of people make it sound. as far as diffusing tea tree with pets. Pets are going to need a lot of tea tree to get into trouble, but that's another topic for another day. But yes, you don't want to just be, you want to use discernment when you use the essential oils. What was I going to say? Yes, you want them, you want lots of it, and that's it. That's all I have to say. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you later. Rewind it if you missed the beginning.